Welcome back to our weekly podcast, Dad Life and Gaming. Today we got another special guest, like always. So we'll go ahead and run down the list of people that are here with us. So Mikey, as always,
Yeah, what's up, guys?
and then we got Mr. Nurse back. He's took a little hiatus to just collect his dad thoughts, but we're glad to have him back.
Oh, it's great to be back, guys.
And our special guest today, I don't know how to pronounce his username, but he's known as John from where we know him. He's joined us today as a special guest.
How about we get that out of the way right now? John, can you tell us how to pronounce that?
It is Aadel. Aadel. So the story behind it is the book Aragon. Did you guys ever read that?
Mm-hmm.
Asking a guy that never reads a book.
It means morning star in their language.
Gotcha.
So I was super into that book, thought it was really cool, and I had an Xbox when I was 12, so I signed up for it using that.
Gotcha. I've heard of it, but I just English hard.
English hard.
I hear that
You
all
have
the time.
no idea
It's
how
like,
happy I am there's a book nerd in here with me.
yeah, y'all can make love off screen. I actually yesterday bought a book, but it was Terminal Lance. If y'all have seen that comic strip about the military life.
Yep.
I was expecting Garfield, so
No,
The only comic military I know is Beetle Bailey. So
no. When you got time, look it up. It's Terminal Lance. It's on Facebook. He started as a Marine, and he's made 2 books now, and very well known in the community and very well known in the military community actually. But yeah, I went out and bought his second book, which is a collection of all of his comics, which he's got over
Nice.
like 300 comic strips. And I think he was featured in the Times, or was it the New York Post? One of the two.
He was actually featured in, if I'm remembering right, Time.
Yeah. So, like I said, he's not big deal, but he's pretty chill guy. But yeah, I appreciate you there, John, joining us today on the very short notice. It was actually like 2 hours before airing.
oh yeah. I mean, I'm winging it, so I'm not really sure what I'm doing, but we'll make it work.
We don't know what we're doing either. It's a
fake it till you make it, baby.
Yep.
Well, that's all, man.
You're not talking to professionals here.
Yeah, I was about to say, dad life is run it by ear, make sure they're not bleeding, and make sure if they're burning, just put mustard on it.
And if it's really bad, call mom.
Don't call mom because you don't get flamed.
No, repeat after me. You're obviously new at this. Don't tell mom.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't. Well, this is true. This is true.
You just say, oh, what is that? That's just mustard on the wall when it's really a really bad crap stain.
It's the latest trend in France. There's random yellow blotchy decorating.
Yeah, you just throw your sandwich at the wall.
Yeah, that's all.
It's Art Deco. It's fine.
But as always in our podcast, the first section, it's always Mike. So why don't you take it away there, Solo?
All right. So we have a good little bit of chunk of news, especially for anyone playing Magic the Gathering now. First off, though, Jade has been announced in MK11, and she is looking fantastic.
I saw that.
Evil Japan is this weekend, 15th through the 19th. The 19th Sunday will be the finals. They start at 8 a.m. JST, and actual tourney starts at 9 a.m. JST. So keep a lookout for that. And with news of Evil Japan, there is no Blanca banning. So if you guys have been following the news, there has recently been found a freeze time glitch with him. So I will talk about that to y'all later. But he is not banned and fully tournament legible. Frozen 2 trailer was announced this past week. So get ready for Let It Go some more. Z powers in Pokemon Duel are going to be available very soon. Now on to the Magic the Gathering. Magic the Gathering Arena has finally banned a card. Nexus of Fate is now banned in all ranked and standard, which means first to one, formats. So do not put next to the Fate in anything if you want to do competitive. MGT, the Singleton is on Arena right now for Valentine's Day, so haha to everyone playing Magic, you single little shit. And that goes through the 18th. And that is it. There's your Mike's Near News.
All right. So, yeah, there's plenty of stuff going on today in the, oh, not today, but the last week of gaming. I mean, we got the early access of Anthem going on right now, and then a couple other stuff going on. I know, like, I caught some streamers playing the Anthem, which we'll get to in a moment. But the first thing we really want to try and touch on right now is the huge Blizzard layoff. I mean, everybody was heard of it coming in, and I don't think they really were prepared for how bad it was, because they were thinking it was like 50 to 100 people, 100 people being max. It was 800 people getting laid off from Blizzard Activision. And the PR was like, yeah, we need to cut funds to make better games for you.
Yeah, if I can put in a point here too, 2019, they have no new IPs being released. However, they stated in their report for firing these people or laying off, or however you want to look at it, that this many people do not line up with our current release schedule. So think about that. There's 2, maybe 3 actual games coming from Blizzard, and they're laying off, or coming from Blizzard this year, which are all just remakes. And they are laying off almost 800 people. I believe the final number was like 775. But that is 775 people being laid off, in their own words, due to a tight release schedule.
Well, they just announced that they're remaking Diablo 2, right? And working on Diablo 4.
I have not heard about a remake.
Or like
they're working on Diablo 4. But that's not being released this year.
Yeah, but this is also after the the Heroes of the Storm competitive getting knocked down too.
Yes.
Actually, right before that news broke, I started streaming again, and a friend of mine joined me, asked me to join them, and I played like a couple rounds. They're like, "Yeah, you're really good." It's like, "Yeah, I come from League of Legends, so this is really easy." And then like a week later, like, "Yeah, it sucks that the Heroes of the Storm competitive has been dismissed." I was like, "What the heck?"
Yeah, and I don't know how big that team was with the Heroes of the Storm competitive league that they were trying to do, but you could reassign it to Overwatch to get better production value or something like that.
But my thing is like they also released that this year was their biggest year ever in earnings.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you justify 800 people laying off, because you have to tighten your budget for better games.
I do want to point out, it has been confirmed that it is all non-developer, non-publishing areas that they will release from.
So, PR for Heroes of the Storm?
PR, esports, stuff like that. You know, advertising, all them people, you know, they got shoved out the door. I can see maybe at most 150. But not 775.
It's just how things, the industry is. It's honestly, I've heard from a lot of people, is like you can have a job for like 2 weeks and then you're let go. I mean, look at the Telltale company.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, at least they're finishing up Walking Dead, though.
I thought
they kept on a skeleton crew.
Yeah, it's on a skeleton crew, and they've also sold some of the ISPs. But
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's just people are trying to get more stingy with money, and I just don't like it lately.
That, and according to reports that I've been hearing too, almost no notice.
Well, I think
in
they get
either
like
Telltale
I
or
think
Blizzard.
yeah, Telltale was was a total shocker, but Blizzard was like, hey, there was rumors going around. People were like, oh crap, I'm not sure if I'm staying or if I'm going. And like I said before, they were expecting like no more than 100 to 150 people laid off.
Well, that's it too. I mean, how do you justify the numbers? It's insane.
I mean, Nurse and John, what would happen right now if you were laid off, or all your income?
Honest to God, I'd be moving in with my parents. Like me, my wife, and kids would pick up and leave because we're a paycheck to paycheck family. It wouldn't work out.
Pretty much the same thing over here. I mean, no income means that we're screwed. Almost everybody in the middle class anymore is paycheck to paycheck. There's no middle class like it used to be where you have that nest egg they tell you to have. Nobody really has that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I make good money, but I live paycheck to paycheck and make sure things are balanced right. Single parent, I don't have to buy as much stuff on Valentine's Day like the other guys do, but still, like, if my company is like, hey, we're doing half the company away, and I'm like, well, crap, I'm screwed, because it's actually happened before. I was working with a landscaping company, and they didn't renew their contract with Walmart, so they had to lay off half the people. And not only was I like one of the newer hires, but I also had a lot of absences because of my military. So they're like, hey, you got the short end of the straw. I was like, okay, whatever. And I just found more work, but it was like, I thought it was okay, but come to find out it wasn't. Well,
Yeah,
I hope that the people that were laid off, they find other jobs and, continue on. I mean, there was a story from the Telltale that somebody moved to San Francisco and only worked like a week before he was laid off.
Ooh.
Wow.
And probably
As useless as it is, I hope that everyone who did get laid off or fired does manage to land on their feet and hit the ground running.
Yeah. And it's just one of those things, it sucks to hear it, and the industry is more cutthroat like it is now. And maybe another studio will pick them up. I mean, shit, there's plenty of other companies that could pick them up.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe move to Japan. Has anybody played any of the beta for Division 2?
Not over here.
It looks like a reskin. That's the only thing I had to say about it. I mean, there might be some new things. I've been a Destiny 2 player, Division 1 player, and it just looks like a reskin. Everybody's complaining about bullet sponges and stuff like that. And what is it with, like, new ISPs going to reskin a sequel? Anybody can tell me about that? That just boggles my mind. I mean, what is it? There's one game that's been using the same engine for like 20 some odd years. Fallout's been using the same freaking engine.
Mm-hmm.
Not just Fallout, Bethesda.
Yeah.
Because they use that engine for Skyrim and everything too.
Yeah, it's just.
they used it just recently on Fallout 76.
Yeah.
See, I never really played Fallout, but wasn't 76 like a dive? Like, wasn't it awful?
It still is.
Oh, you are in the right place, my friend.
do we really have to go down this road? Because we can spend 9 hours being salty on this one.
Well, I didn't buy
Can
it.
I give him the Cliff Notes version?
Sure.
Please? All right. So at the beginning, Fallout 76, really, there's no NPCs in the game. It's all player versus player. Biggest downfall to begin with is that within the first week, everyone dropped their nukes and destroyed the server. Even a little before that, people who pre-ordered the $200 collector's edition, mind you, were promised canvas bags with their Fallout helmet, and they received cheap nylon bags. Mind you, nylon is a very terrible theme. So what Bethesda did is they gave them 500 atoms, which is $5 worth of in-game currency.
Which you could not even buy.
Big spenders.
You can't even buy the nylon bag in-game with that. Or the canvas bag in the game.
So what they then did is like, okay, we're going to put you all on a list, and we're going to factory make these nylon or canvas bags and send them to you. Oops, we accidentally showed other people who are on the same list where you live and everything else. So they pretty much DDoSed everyone on that list to each other. It was all accessible.
And then the whole developers section of the game that allowed people to get weapons that weren't released yet.
Yes. People were able to fall into the developer room, which, if you don't know, developer room in Bethesda's game is where the developers go to put every item in the game.
And if you get caught.
Players turned that into a actual currency, which they sold the items on eBay to other players, and then Bethesda banned those people. However, Bethesda was like, okay, guess what? You tell us how you did it, and we'll unban you.
Write an essay.
I don't think to this day they know. So, short, Bethesda done fucked up.
Yeah, a lot.
So basically, if I'm gonna start playing Fallout, don't start with 76.
Dude, don't even start. You're better off playing Fallout Shelter than Fallout 3 or 4.
The best Fallout game, honestly, so far is still New Vegas.
Yes. And that's,
if you want it on a console.
And that's somebody that didn't even touch 3 or 4.
I played all of them.
For those of you who played all the Fallouts, if they come out with another one,
no.
Are you anti-Bethesda now, or will you play it?
Right now, I'm really anti a lot of stuff, which we'll get into.
I'm not going to buy it day one, I'll tell you that.
No pre-order.
Nope.
So we'll get into
that. I am anti-Fallout.
That's a good segue right now, because the whole EA stuff is still happening. I was able to catch some early access Anthem streams today. And guess what? They still have it on the same patch as the demo. So the people able to play, the people that paid to have EA Origin, which is like what, $100 a year, they're still playing where enemies will despawn right in front of you. And all the other bugs. There was one guy that got locked into free roam. And they're like, you know what, screw this, we're going to go play Apex. They're still running on the same version that everybody else played when the demo came out. But they have the monetization up now, so you can buy your skins. And if you do get the game, play the first mission on hard, and you will automatically jump to level 4. Bingo. I mean, I wanted this game to work, and I'm still on the fence. I know I posted in the group that video. Somebody made almost a movie trailer for Anthem. It was the same people that made District 9, which I liked that movie, which is the same people that made Chappé. it was a really nice, well done video, but it's just like they're overhyping it, and it's not that great. And it makes me worry about games coming out now, like Days Gone. I might not pre-order that now or buy it day one. Anthem, I might wait 2 weeks.
Yeah, that brings up a whole another issue of, okay, well, we stopped pre-ordering. Do we wait a month to buy a game now? So it's actually, in a working state?
Wait for it to go
See,
on sale.
I was never big in the pre-order thing, and it's just like buying a phone. Like I got the Note 9 4 months after it came out, so I knew all the bugs were worked out, and then I don't have to deal with it.
Well, just like going back to that 76, you waited a week and it was half off.
Yeah, but like there's no incentive or in-game reward that would be great enough for me to have the 76 problems or to have the Anthem problems. Like, unless you're refunding me for the price of my game, plus a bunch of extra stuff, I'd rather buy it 2 months late and just enjoy playing it than being frustrated.
And get a discount on it. It'll be on sale.
I remember us talking about this the last time I was on with you guys, and we were discussing the fact that at one point it was worth it to pre-order. You'd actually get some pretty decent swag out of the deal, and at that point developers actually gave a crap about putting out a product that everyone wanted to play day one. And now it's just like, here's a buggy piece of shit. Sorry you bought it early. We're rewarding them for putting out crap games.
There is one exception to that, and it recently just came out. But we won't talk about that anymore, right, guys?
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole again. Oh, hey, whoa, everybody's going off now. But, yeah, so there are...
Oh, John's having internet issues.
Okay. But, there are games that can come out that are decent, and people just need to take their time and not have people yanking their chains like EA is yanking Anthem chains, and it's sad.
I'll be honest. You want quality games, you know where you got to go now? You got to look in the indie scene.
Indie, yes. I was just about to say that too, because they give a shit.
Not just indie, but Nintendo still does it right too.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, they do.
Like, I mean, tons of perks either way. Indie games, you can actually get in as part of like, oh, hey, I'm going to donate to this Indies Kickstarter, and if it actually manages to get off the ground, your name is now in a game, which is immortalized.
Mm-hmm.
Which is pretty cool.
I mean, Dead Cells 2.
If you look... Exactly. I mean, even Shovel Knight. If you look at the Super Best Friends, they were one of the top contributors, and they got a character in the game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you're working with indies, you can actually work with indies.
Yeah, they
AAA titles, Anthem, all that stuff. It's like they could care less about you. It's their bottom dollar they want.
And going back to what I mentioned with Dead Cells, I've heard that they also have a Twitch integration with it now, where your viewers can screw up, make your game wacky as hell. And that's just an extra thing that, hey, they didn't have to do this. They could have just said, hey, we release this and it's $15, have at it. But no, they're still doing patches, they're balancing stuff, making it speed run more, and that's an indie game. It's an indie game. It's not a freaking AAA, Call of Duty game. No, it's an indie game. I mean, look at the game. Look at Apex. Came out, it worked good, and it didn't have any hype at all. It was released on the day it was announced. Everybody likes it. It plays good. It's got new mechanics to it. And, like, I finished Titanfall 2. That was a great story. I haven't touched the multiplayer, which is back on sale, guys. If you want to pick it up, pick it up. There's a huge PlayStation Store sale going on this week.
Yeah, what is it, like $7.50 right now?
I could look it up right now because there's like 18 pages of
I'm
stuff.
just saying what I read earlier.
Yeah, they have it back to about
under $8.
yeah, it's like under $8, I think. But
And the story is amazing. The multiplayer is just phenomenal. And it was one of those games that was released in a time window that was terrible. And here it is getting a resurgence because of what's essentially Respawn being like, you know what, to hell with EA. We're going to put this out because we know what we're going to be a bit for Titanfall 3 or whatever their next project is.
Titanfall 2 Ultimate Edition, $7.49 digitally on PlayStation Store.
Nice.
Ooh, yeah, called it.
It's cheaper than what I paid 2 weeks ago when Apex came out. And also Red Dead Redemption's on sale. The Witcher Wild Hunt 3 is on sale. The complete edition is on sale for $14.99. If you have not picked up that game, get it. I'm only maybe an eighth of the way into that game, and it is amazing. And by the way, Rocket League people, your cars are on sale as well.
The wife just gave me some money to spend, and I was like, I could get games, but I also need to stock up on some of my fishing stuff for the next season.
Red Dead Redemption 2, $40.
Oh, that's a good price.
Yeah, I'm probably going to pick that
Yeah, that
up.
actually ain't bad.
But yeah, it's just these games that you take time on it and it will come out. That's why I don't pre-order. I go all digital and I'll grab a AAA like Game of the Year game when it goes on sale. I think out of the last couple of games I bought on day one was Horizon Zero Dawn, God of War. I think that's it since a very long time. And those were really great games.
Like I said before, last game I pre-ordered was the original Pokemon Moon.
Yeah.
Before that, I couldn't even tell you what it was.
My last two day one purchases were Skyrim and Killzone 3.
Ooh,
It's been a while.
That was so good.
Wasn't it? That was a good time.
It was a good time. I wish Resistance would have been better because that was a fun game for 1 and 2, but Killzone nailed it to 3.
Yeah. There's a huge sale going on with PlayStation right now, guys.
And you know what's funny? You want to talk about shitty beta? Killzone 3, I played the crap out of that beta until it closed. From the day it launched to the day it closed, and that was honestly one of the best betas I ever played. That's what made me decide to buy it day one.
Yeah, that's just it too. Betas now are the server stress test for the developers. They ain't even betas. It's like, here's this portion of the game, playing it so we can test how the server load goes. You know, I mean,
And guess what?
if
It
you want us
fails.
to test your game, tell us. Yeah, it failed hard.
But the fact is,
February 15th.
if they were honest and just said, hey, we want a bunch of you to go on and see if you can crash the server, people would do it happily.
You know, Dan,
Instead of feeding a line of crap about, oh, this is a beta, look, this is just a server stress test. How many of you can get on so we can see what we can expect? And you'd get just as many people doing it, and they'd still do it without having to be paid, and you'd actually not be lying to everybody.
Well, what you do is just say, if you play the beta, we'll get you something in the game if you buy the game. And make it something
Exactly.
not just like some skin or something. Make it something worthwhile. I mean, I think they
did that
Killzone?
with Street Fighter 5. They did that with Street Fighter 5 for the Street Fighter 5 beta. Is if you played in the beta, you got a certain amount of fight money, which you could put towards the in-game skins, because that's how you buy the skins, is you either earn it or you pay for the actual money in the game.
Yeah.
Because everything has microtransactions. But that was worth it. I mean, we'd go on, we'd test it out, and it's like, okay, here you go, have some money, go get yourself a skin.
Killzone 3 gave double experience points for the first 48 hours the game was live if you played the beta.
Jeez.
So there was your incentive to go buy it day one to get the double experience points because you already had the account and you already played the beta. So they made it worth my while to drop that 60 day one. I already had an idea of the maps I was going to be playing on because they had, I think it was 5 of the original maps were released on the beta. So it was completely worth it to me to go out and grab that game. Like, they incentivized it so well. I was more than happy to drop that money on it.
But like Anthem, it's like, hey, don't get used to the currency system. It's going to change.
Did it?
I haven't seen any of it right now, but they're probably holding on. There's like a day one mega patch coming out.
Of course there freaking is.
I know I sound like an old man, but does anybody remember when they actually had to put out a functioning game from day one?
Apex?
No, I mean back in cartridge days when you couldn't go online.
That's why you have speedruns on these older games.
Petridge Farm remembers.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
You were waiting for that.
I was.
But, so going to that, I just want to briefly talk about the whole, like, was it review copy and or, like, blacklisting, if you might have heard of that.
I did. It's complete bullshit.
I just don't understand. Like, that's one thing I'll stress over and over. Like, what I did today. Go on Twitch. Watch somebody play the game. Don't watch YouTube. Because they pretty much got a review copy for free. So they can get their, some good PR. Now, go watch Twitch. And, like, today I was watching, Lurk. I think it is. Lirk. Whatever his name is. And he was playing with a friend, and they spent not even 30 minutes playing the game. They're like, you know what? Let's go play Apex, because this is buggy as shit.
I still disagree with you there. Some YouTubers do that.
Yes.
The ones I watch do not. I do not. There is one that I am going to actually pimp right now. It's called IGP. He does a lot of just out there games. Like the one I really like that he does is called The Isle, and right now it's in early access, I think alpha. And he will show you the glitches. He will show you the dumb stuff because he thinks it's hilarious. And he has actually played with the developer of the game to have him show us him around and all that stuff. So if you guys, and this is just me because I think it's a cool game, you get to play as freaking dinosaurs, go check out The Isle on IGP. It looks like a hell of a game, and it just looks better and better every time he actually puts a video out about it.
Real quick, I want to touch on the sales because I'm running through it and seeing how much my wallet's going to hate me at the end of the day. The Bloodborne Complete Edition bundle is less than $18.
Ooh. I already got that.
Noia, the samurai version of Bloodborne, is $20.
Yeah, Neo.
Yeah, Neo. Red Dead Redemption 2 is $40.19. Overwatch Legendary Edition is $30. Last of Us, the Left Behind standalone is $6. And then like I said, The Witcher, that's something to get to. Like the base Witcher is like $10. But you can get the complete edition with all the DLC for like $14.99. It's the complete edition. You get all the DLC.
I've seen gameplay of that. It looks interesting, but I played Witcher 2 and I could not get a hold of the combat.
Have you played Assassin's Creed Odyssey?
No.
Okay.
The last Assassin's Creed I played was Brotherhood.
Okay. Well, I played it. I enjoy it. It was pretty good combat fluid. I spec'd into my shield more. But, it's a pretty good game. I definitely would get it. It looks like John's joined us back with his internet.
Yeah, I gotta love it, man. It's so great.
But we were just talking about the EA blackout, and then all the games are on sale and whatnot. But so real quick, Titanfall 3 and Star Wars game in production as well. You gotta love that Respawn.
I just want to make a big point here. They did not specifically say that Titanfall 3 was going to be the next FPS they put out. That is a big thing from the developer note they released. That Titanfall 3 is in development, but it is not the next FPS they are putting out.
And then,
I know I'm going to regret asking this, but who's developing the new Star Wars game?
Crickets. I don't think they've said the name, have they?
I'm just hoping it's not EA. Every time they make a Star Wars game, it makes me cry and die a little bit inside.
That's why I'm worried about Anthem.
I think, you know what? I'll be honest with you right now. The way Apex did Respawn working on the next Star Wars game, I think EA will go hands off and just publish it.
I mean, they still get their money.
Right.
Exactly.
And I think that's
the
why
way, Apex.
I honestly think that's why EA is like, hey, with this Apex coming out, we didn't touch it. So if it sucks, you can't blame us. And everybody's like, you didn't touch it? Let's play it some more.
Exactly. And EA stocks went up. So, I'm saying, if they can keep their hands off Star Wars, for the love of God, leave it the hell alone.
Yeah, right.
We might get a good Star Wars game. Shut up.
Keep on dreaming about that.
I know.
We haven't had a good Star Wars game since Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah, we won't go back there. People watching this probably weren't born yet.
That's probably true.
I know.
Don't tell me that.
And speaking of being born again, I know Mike is just tingling to get this news out about the Direct.
We had a Nintendo Direct, everybody. We did it. Woo! Yeah,
it was a good one too.
It was a great one. Wednesday, just out of the blue, the day before Tuesday, they said, "Yeah, we're gonna have a Direct tomorrow." And I was like, "Okay." 35-minute Direct. I think it was 15 main titles announced with hints at a bunch of others. There was no Pokemon announcement. However, today they released on their Twitter that February 26th, I freaking called it. I told you all the second time we did this podcast, Pokemon Day. February 26th, they're going to have a Pokemon Direct. So keep your eye out. I will be covering that wholeheartedly.
Real quick, the Direct, is it just like a conference?
It's exactly that. It is a Nintendo exclusive conference where they're like, "Oh, hey, we made the Switch. Here's what we have for it."
Okay, so it's like a random conference, real quick.
It's basically what we're doing right here, except they're showcasing this is what's coming up, this is what we're excited for, this is what we'd like you to get excited for.
Gotcha. So Pokemon in its own right. Is this for games or TCG, or is this all Pokemon related items?
The Pokemon Direct will be straightly all Pokemon related. Might announce TCG expansions. I know for sure they're going to announce the 2019 Switch version of Pokemon, which is going to be Gen 8, everybody. You watch it right. You hear my words right now. I'm calling it. It's going to be Gen 8. And February 26th, Pokemon Day, the day the original Pokemon was released in Japan.
When Pikachu was
So-
hatched and furry and didn't have Ryan Reynolds' voice.
So what else
you
were
know
you
what?
excited for off the direct, man?
Oh, I'm just going to put it out there. The big one, Link's Awakening,
Yes.
is being remade. It looks great. It is a 2.5D top-down RPG. And
It looks
awesome.
like Link Between Worlds.
It pretty much is. For those who don't know, the concept of 2.5D is bringing the 3D characters, putting them more or less at a 2D plane. That sounds tasty.
Sorry.
Putting them on a 2D plane and just allowing the shadows to take effect. Like they did it with Street Fighter V. They've done it with a bunch of other games. It looks amazing. If you go and look up the Link's Awakening trailer, they had an entire minute of pure hand-drawn animation teaser. And it was beautiful. It brought me back to when Gundam and Voltron first came out. It was awesome. And then they showed the new graphics for Link's Awakening, and they showed the Chain Chomp in the front yard, and they showed the Goombas, and then they showed the Spirit Egg, and I'm so excited. I'm so glad I'm getting a Switch this year.
Do you need a minute to go change your pants, brother?
No, I'm just going to keep going tonight. Don't worry about it.
And the meds will take care of it.
I mean, I hear you. I was so excited when I saw that. And honestly, a lot of the stuff that they're promising this year is just beyond exciting for me. Animal Crossing is going to be released this year, which has always been one of my favorite titles. And they just...
They have a direct now too, don't they?
No.
They've done a couple just for Animal Crossing, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was listening to something today and they announced it.
When they did
Tuesday, I think it was, when they announced
for
it.
Animal Crossing New Leaf, it got its own direct because they went and they re-released it with new abilities and called it Animal Crossing New Leaf Welcome Amiibo, and it got its own 15-minute direct when that came out.
Gotcha.
Oh, that's cool.
See, the only Animal Crossing I'm familiar with is with the GameCube, and I bought that for my soon-to-be ex-wife. And
It's pretty much the same game. Moving forward, they introduce a few new mechanics, but it's basically the same game. Better graphics each time. The newest one, you're actually the mayor of your town instead of just someone that lives there. But they keep all of the elements that everybody really liked in each game, and they just add a few new tweaks here or there, upgrade the graphics, and everyone was really disappointed. They were sure it was going to come out when the Switch released, because Nintendo's just always had one on each of its main consoles, and it hasn't been there. And fans were starting to worry that they weren't going to release a new one, and finally they announced it.
See, I've only played a little Animal Crossing, but I respect that game because people always talk about the Call of Duty following and the World of Warcraft following, and Animal Crossing is one of those underground games that has a surprisingly large fan base.
Oh,
You
yes.
play it still.
See,
I
and
still-
I'm a Harvest Moon guy, so I didn't really get into Animal Crossing because I was like, well, I'm micromanaging this one. Why would I want to micromanage that one? So hearing this stuff, it's kind of exciting for me because it's like, I could get into this.
Yeah, because when's the last time a Harvest Moon's come out?
Last year.
Game
And
Boy.
shit.
The last good one was on the Game Boy Advance.
Advance Wars days.
I mean, yeah, and I'm right now I'm playing Stardew Valley, and I love that game.
But we were just talking, actually, I was excited and telling you guys during the sound check that I had been out at a thrift store and found a copy of Animal Crossing City Folk for the Wii, and I was like, sweet, nostalgia boner, and I picked it up because it was $5, and I've been playing the crap out of that.
Just give it a month and they'll probably port it to the Switch.
Probably, but it's one of those ones that everybody always keeps, so you never find it unless you're definitely looking for it and you're looking in places where people buy and trade games. You never just find it in the wild.
Yeah.
So it was really cool to just walk into a thrift store and be like, holy crap, here's this game I want. And, you know, it was one of those great things for collectors that happens every now and again.
Do you need to change your pants?
That's another thing.
Yes, I do.
That's another thing they did at the Direct is like, okay, well, the Nintendo subscription service for retro games, here's what's coming out, and they announced a whole bunch of stuff for that too.
Are they like integrating Microsoft too?
Yes, the Switch is going to have Microsoft Live. Xbox Live is going to be available on the Switch.
And how that works, just quick, is you can sign into your Live account and earn trophies.
Oh.
It's not an actual, like, oh, you're on Xbox now.
You get to play your Gears of War and Halo on the Switch as you're running around work.
So you're earning Xbox trophies playing on a Switch, right?
Yep.
But why? What does the trophies do?
Nothing.
Bragging points?
Does the Switch have a trophy system of its own?
No.
No.
Nintendo has never had an achievement system because they want you to focus more on the games than on earning meaningless stuff. They want you to walk away with an experience and not just, I mean,
which is 100% respectable.
Yeah.
But will trophies only be for Xbox and Switch games, or will exclusively Switch games have Xbox trophies?
I think it might be like cross platforms.
Yep. If you remember back in the day, like Nintendo, Super Nintendo, if you beat a game, no one would know you beat that game unless you took a screenshot or took a picture with a
Polaroid
disposable camera and had it developed. Or a Polaroid, yep. And the cool thing about back then also, again, going back to my childhood, if you sent that picture into Nintendo, they would give you a jacket patch.
See, I never knew that. That's awesome.
Well, there's a time
you're talking Nintendo Power days.
Yeah, there were like there's times where like there was a person or a group of people that would respond to people's questions that were sent by mail.
Yep. And then there was hotlines too.
But the only thing bad about then is that you couldn't get a tour of Nintendo.
Exactly. I remember back playing Dino Crisis on the PS and I got stuck. So I called the number on the back of the case.
Good days.
Wait, there you go. I got a solution. We get those numbers back up and running, we find those Blizzard guys, and we get them some jobs.
For Dino Crisis?
There we go.
No, just for... Okay, I'm stuck on this video game. Help me. What the hell am I supposed to do?
YouTube it.
All right, listen.
Let me Google it for you.
You know, I really hate YouTubing it, though, because I get on YouTube and I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to do? And you get, yo, what's up? It's it. Never mind. I'll figure it out myself.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's my chief complaint.
The first 2 minutes are like, go thumbs up, social media, this, that, and that. I'm like, dude, just show me this without all these, like, sound effects.
Short and short, we had a Nintendo Direct for the first time in 2019. and it blew it out of the park. If you get a chance, hop onto YouTube on the Nintendo channel and watch the video on demand. It was amazing. And stay tuned for February 26th for Pokemon Day.
So,
You're just gonna get stuck again.
yeah. You're
I
just
am
gonna-
not going to get stuck again.
No, not you. My cat is trying to crawl into a box that's too small for him.
Well, then,
And I forgot to mute the mic before I yelled at him.
so I know you guys up north are not going to be able to experience this, but hey, here in Orlando, we might be able to with this Halo amusement park coming up in development. My question
All right,
is,
guys. It was great with the podcast. I'm leaving.
First you're rubbing in about the weather, then about amusement parks.
well, I just
Now
don't,
I understand why he missed me.
I just don't understand what you could do about like making an amusement park about Halo. I played 1, 2, 3, and ODST a little bit, but like,
All right. Here's
2
my
words:
idea.
laser tag.
duh.
I would
Here's
get
my-
I would get having a ride or like a VR type thing, but a whole park is like a stretch.
No, because you could do the Ride the Arc Ferris coaster, roller coaster, which all in all would be pretty lame. You could do the Roadhog roller coaster where everyone's in their own tiny little Roadhog. You could do, I'm not sure if you remember back in the 90s in malls when you had the Tread VR where you could actually walk in place, run and gun and shoot and all that.
Those were pretty sweet.
That was in the original Terminator
were
movie.
Was it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Like the original running VR thing. Yeah, that was in the Terminator movie. But anyways, I can see, but why? Like, who is funding
Yeah, all
this?
in all, it's going to be lame.
Who is funding
It's
this?
Not going to
Bungie?
be worth the money. Yeah,
Is there going to
okay.
be enough of a visitor base to maintain
It's
it too?
It might be the next Wizard of Oz amusement park.
Okay, but how many millions of Americans visit a park centered around a giant rat?
But how much more is
Well, hold
expanded upon
on.
that?
Hold on. If it's Master Splinter, I will be at that park every day.
I was talking about Mickey Mouse.
But you gotta realize they're expanding the crap out of that. They got Avatar now. They're doing a Star Wars. They're doing a Marvel now.
And Disney appeals to people of all ages. I mean, the 90-year-old couple goes there and goes to Epcot and eats food all day.
Dude, that
You know, the
shit
12-year-old
is
kid
good.
goes and see princesses, and oh yeah, it's great. I don't know if there's enough of a fan base to maintain a Halo park.
Yeah.
It'll be probably a dream project for the first 5 years, and then when it goes downhill, everyone's gonna be like, "Why did we do this?"
I don't know.
So
And
it's
I
going to be
wonder-
like the franchise as a whole.
I wonder if it opens the door for other game and music parks. Like, it's going to be a Call of Duty world that comes out and a World of Warcraft world
No,
that
there'll
comes out.
probably be like a Fortnite world. Let's be real.
Go to that.
You do. You
Come
do
here,
realize
build a
that,
house and watch people break it down.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
do realize that you just described the Halo franchise as a whole. It was really good for 4 or 5 years, and then we're like, why the hell did we do this? That's the whole franchise.
I mean, I'll tell you right now, if you can go there and get to drive a Warthog, I'll do that. But other than that, yeah, I don't see any reason to go. Yeah, but there'll probably be like the whole amusement parks, like laser tags everywhere.
Yeah, the next big amusement park is gonna feature gene spliced animals. I'm just gonna say it right now. Jurassic Park when? Come on.
You gotta wait for that Star Wars crap, man. I'm telling you, they're working hard over here with that.
See, if I don't walk out of the Halo Park with a free Master Chief helmet, I'm gonna be pissed.
No, I want to take home whatever freaking name is Cortana.
Cortana.
Yeah, half naked. There you go.
She's already half
Hold on.
naked.
Do you have an Android phone?
Yeah.
Yes.
Then you already have Cortana.
No, it's like a
Boom,
projected, like, a projected image, like she was in the games. Come on now, get on the same page, man.
I don't just want to listen to her talk.
Yeah, there's gotta be something there.
I could easily turn this into a rated R podcast.
anyways, but
You mean we're not there yet?
other than the amusement park, Bungie is working on a secret project. Apparently, it's probably going to be a VR game.
I will say it right now. If they do VR Destiny 1, I will buy a VR headset.
No, I say BR, like Battle Royale.
Oh.
Ugh.
Oh, God, no. Oh, God, no.
That's okay. He said VR, and based on the last discussion, my mind went somewhere completely different, and I'm like,
Cortana.
they'll sell buttload.
Well,
The first NC-17 video game.
what would you think about if they integrated Destiny and Halo into a game? Think about that.
As a battle royale,
Maybe.
it'd be too floaty. It'd be way too floaty. If you played any of those games, you know the characters have a hell of a jump,
Oh, yeah.
but they come down really nice and soft. So it'd be a little floaty, and I can just see it being a pogo jump battle royale.
But it'll also be exclusive to Xbox.
Well, then they can have it all they want. I don't care. I got PS4. I'm on the better platform for what I play.
Yeah.
I have them both.
And which
But
one
I'll
do
be
you
honest.
use most?
PlayStation.
Oh, there you go. Even though
Xbox is more for those friends that play on Xbox and won't convert.
and right now it's like it's quiet for PlayStation, but how many good games have we had come out that we're still playing?
Oh, good God.
Oh,
Yeah.
exactly.
I'm still working on. I still got like all of Witcher 3. Still want to get Red Dead Redemption. Apex came out as well. I was like, and I just had to re-download everything on my PS4 Pro because I had to reinitialize for the Apex game, which actually fixed it. Believe it or not.
Physical games, my PlayStation collection is double my Xbox. Easily. And that's not going into digital games because you go that way and the Xbox has whatever I got with gold that month and the PlayStation has so much more because every time there's a sale, I'm like, well, I'm broke again.
Like this week.
Exactly.
I mean, not only that, but the 2 free games we got for PS4 this month was For Honor and Hitman.
Yeah, Hitman the first season, which I've been playing a little bit of. It's badass.
Yeah, I mean, from what I heard, that the second season is really good too.
I might have to get it because it's so good. I mean, back in the day, PS1, PS2, I was huge into that game called Tenchu, which
Yes.
was the
Yes.
Ninja Assassin.
That's what they need to bring
You
back.
remember that?
They need to bring that back.
Well, surprise, surprise. There's actually word on the street they're remaking it.
I'll buy this shit. I'll buy
But,
some stock.
So, yeah, it's like that, except stealth is actually working in this game.
Oh,
And
yeah.
It is so much fun.
I've seen some video clips of people on like the highest difficulty, and they've gone through the level so many times, and they can get the whole mission done without being seen or any negative points. Get like the highest value marking in like 30 seconds, and it's like wow.
Yeah.
And they don't go
I
in.
believe it
They don't
because
go in with anything either, with just coins. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, playing it just on normal, I can see how people would be able to pick up the paths and all that. Whereas I'm going through, I'm exploring, then I'm doing my mission. So yeah, PlayStation, they just recently cut off the free PS3 games and the free PS Vita games every month,
but
to focus more on the free games with PlayStation Plus.
But what did they also give us? They gave us, I think, as 100 gigs online cloud storage too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
For
which is
free.
a giant boot from what we had.
Yeah, we had like what 20 or 30 or something like that. I think it was 20 gigs.
I thought it was 16.
I think it was 20. But there's also rumors about another
wasn't much.
price flux going up again. Because right now it's PlayStation Plus for a year is the same price as a AAA new release game. But
Yeah.
within your second month, if you download the games, you're already making money. Because this month alone was $50 worth of games. If you don't include the PS Network games or the PS3 games. For Honor
Yeah, and I mean,
and Hitman were alone like $60+.
yeah. And if you look at the PlayStation Plus subscription packages right now, $25 3 months, $50 for a year. I mean, it's not bad.
Yeah, and
So
usually
going up,
around December they go on sale too.
Yep.
yeah. If it goes up $10, it's still going to be worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Usually around Christmas time and back to school, you can get 6 months for the price of 3 on PlayStation.
Oh yeah, I'd look for those. Even if I think I'm like 2 years advance in my subscription because every time it goes on like sale for like $40, I'll nab a year.
Yeah. See, and I do the pay through the PlayStation actually through a service, and I got 3 months recurring. So it just comes out automatically.
Yeah. But going to games now, because we're just talking about Hitman and whatnot. Luckily, which I think a lot of people would have like just flame it, the violent video game tax got denied. Which
Yep.
they were going
Fuck you,
to,
Pennsylvania.
yeah, they were going to do like what? How much was the tax going to be? Like 18%?
20.
20. Any game that had violence in it would have been taxed an extra 18% or 20% on any transactions, even the monos. So, and I'm
Yep.
pretty sure.
Mind you,
Go ahead.
in the bill, it was called the sin tax. Exactly.
See, now did that include like cartoon violence, like
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts,
No, like
or
Yep.
Smash Brothers?
yeah,
Anything violent.
anything. I
What
think,
game is it?
Like I think it was anything not E-rated was going to get hit.
You realize Australia already does this.
Yeah, but Australia
Oh, yeah.
is on the
And
other
they
side of the
put
freaking world.
Not just that, but they also pay import tax. They pay so much money for games that unless they really want a game, it doesn't matter to them.
Yeah.
See, like I live in PA, but I'm 20 minutes from the West Virginia border. Like, it's not a big deal for me to drive across, get it, and come back. So it wouldn't directly have affected me.
But
I think it's crap in general,
but
but
the thing, it would have been the foot in the door.
oh, exactly. Then they start banning
Exactly.
people because they claimed it was going to pay for school security, which I'm sure that's exactly where that money would have gone.
Yeah, let's
Well,
let's
not
talk
only
about
gets
it,
foot in the door for stuff like that, it gets the foot in the door on the national level.
That's what I
You
was
know
talking
how
about.
many people have been taking games to the Supreme Court being like, this stuff influences children on violence and everything.
Grand Theft Auto. being
Every,
banned from
every
it.
time, I'm not downplaying school shootings. Anytime there's a school shooting, the first news story is, well, they must have played Call of Duty.
You know what, though?
And even
Several reputable
even
studies have
recently-
disproved that.
Because it's
that's
an
what I was just
outlet.
saying. A new study was put out this past week showing that there's no connection whatsoever.
Exactly. Like, I know
Mind
kids
you.
who would fight with their brothers, physically fight with their brothers. Their parents would give them controllers, put them 1v1 on Rust in Modern Warfare 2, and they'd be fine half an hour later.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, me and my brother would fight it out in Tekken.
Exactly. It's an outlet. It's a when I was in college, 4 adult hunter guys with access to all kinds of guns played all night, every night, and it never affected us physically. We'd be tired and got fat from it, but it never affected us in a mental make bad choices type of state.
I mean,
Exactly, and that's where video games as a catharsis comes in. For those of you who don't know, catharsis is just a psychological term for outlet. Comes in. If you can get your negative and be it violent or stress or whatever, all that shit out while playing a video game, that's a catharsis for you. That is an outlet, and that is therapy. So,
All right, well-
this is a big point. This is let me finish here just quick, please. This is a big point to parents with ADD kids or ADD with aggressive disorder, because that's what I have. If your child acts out and there is no rhyme or reason for it, put them in timeout with something creative or, just something they can focus their attention on, because that will be their catharsis.
What I was going to say is you can tell by my tag. Obviously, I was a nurse at some point in my career. And I would come home after spending a day listening to my patients' family members who went to medical school on Wikipedia. And I would jump on Call of Duty. And believe me, that kept me from strangling some morons. When you're sitting there telling me that Wikipedia told you that this is the way to go, and I'm like, I did actually go to school for this. I kind of have a clue what I'm doing. I passed state licensing tests, and you have Google. And the whole time I'm sitting there seething and biting my tongue, and I go home and I jump on Call of Duty, and that's what keeps me from reaching across that bed and slapping the stupid out of that person.
Exactly. My brother is Asperger's. He has autism. And video games like SOCOM, Sofin, all those games growing up were his big thing. Those are what kept him level. So,
See, on the same note,
go ahead, man.
I was like, on the same note that nurse said, I work at 911. I'm a dispatcher. In a day of getting cussed out and domestics and, Lord forbid, dead kids and this and that, I come home, hug my kids, play a game for an hour, and I'm in a great mindset. I'm all happy-go-lucky. I mean,
yeah, just like me. I experience with my, I tell all of my friends, and I'll be straight up honest with all the viewers too, is that within my 8 years of military service and all of the bull crap I went through,
thank you for, by the way. I meant to thank you earlier and I forgot to.
Yeah, I think all three of us have military service in here, don't we?
I'm probably the only one that doesn't.
Thanks all around. I don't, but thanks to those who do.
I didn't do military service, but I served at home in other capacities as firefighter and that like.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I was in EMS and fire for years before working at 911. So.
And with me, that's even.
I come from a huge military background. I have too many physical disabilities to enter the Army like I wanted to, but to all the members here and abroad, thank you.
Yeah, well,
you are truly heroes.
Indeed.
But going back to that real quick is that with me, when people are like, you guys are thanking me, I look at first responders as a grade above me, my service, because you deal with it all the time here, just domestically. But back to the point at hand is that within my 8 years of service, no stress, no anxiety, no nothing like that. I can walk around getting yelled at all day long and do some stuff that only people wouldn't even have nightmares about. And then dealing with my ex-wife, that's so much anxiety and stress. Dude, like, I literally, like, can, like, tell you how many times I've just had to, like, step back, breathe, and get on a game and just chill out and level back to zero. And all day during the day, I'm a pest technician, so I'm sitting there spraying people's houses. They get upset sometimes. I'm killing bugs or getting wasp or something that could like just make the day worse. But dealing with my marital legal stuff is a point of like, holy crap, I've gone through all this other stuff and I'm okay, but this one person has shifted my table upside down, put a hole in it, and began to screw me through that hole.
Can I just say that it is kind of ironic that a inactive Marine who could probably sleep through mortar fire has PTSD over a 5'0" woman, 120 pounds soaking wet?
Yeah, that's the thing. Well,
and let me ask you this: what do you play when you go to chill out?
it's Apex probably, or any single player campaign thing. It's anything, honestly. League of Legends, even though that's the most toxic game in the freaking world.
Would you qualify those as violent video games?
Not really, and that's the thing I want to go back to as well. Look at what happened here almost a year ago in Jacksonville, Florida. It was a Madden tournament.
Yep.
And a shooting happened there. Violent.
And
people see the violent every Sunday when they watch football. So these people are playing a football game. So how's that violent?
Yeah.
And are they going to apply the 20% tax to boxing tickets and MMA tickets and all that stuff too, or is it just to games?
As I understood it, it was just going to be games.
Because games have been target for a lot of societal issues for how many
Games
years?
have been targeted since the Nintendo came out.
Grand Theft Auto was like the big tipping point.
And before games, it was music.
It still is.
It was
Yeah, and before that,
it was the Beatles and Elvis Presley and the counterculture movements were all, it's destroying society. Then we got video games, and now it's video games and music are destroying society.
See, now whereas there's the book To Kill a Mockingbird, I saw a stat that was like 40-some% of serial killers favorite that book. But it's mandatory for every school in the nation to read.
Oh God, it was such a dry read too.
It was. I get where the author was going. I don't know why she's releasing a second book, but it was a terrible book. But if you look at that, also, there's many places that still ban To Kill a Mockingbird. There's places that ban Fahrenheit 581.
Get this.
451.
That I think it was my junior year. My English teacher was a retired Secret Service person, and he said, "Screw the curricular. We've read Tom Sawyer."
Such a good book. That was such a fun book to read.
And,
It was.
And he was actually like, "Look, if you're going to read it word for word in my classroom, you'd leave it in my classroom. Just know that this is literature." So I was like, holy crap.
Yep.
So, yeah, if nobody knows, you get to say the
American
N-word a
sense.
lot in that book.
Just about every time you say Jim's name.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But
I mean, and it is regarded as American classic literature. So when you're looking at books, when you're looking at music, there have always been periods where it's like, no, we can't have this near our children. And since the late 1980s, video games have been their target. Like, I would love for them to ban the freaking Twilight book.
Please! And that 50 Shades of Grey garbage.
There's some legitimacy to 50 Shades of Grey, however, they did it wrong.
Okay, but to be fair, if that dude was poor and lived in a trailer park, it'd be an episode of Criminal Minds.
And it'd be an interesting episode. But the Twilight books, they're just about freaking teenagers. Fuck it.
I worked at a library doing young adult and teen programs when those books were popular, and I loathed every time a movie came out and I had to do a group discussion on the differences between the book and the movie, because it always devolved into how the teenage girls wanted to sleep with Edward Cullen, and I'm like, oh my god, just no. I'm like, you don't even understand how wrong it is. The dude's like 900 years old. I don't care if he looks like a teenager. It's wrong.
Okay, sorry, this is way off subject, but I am so glad that Wesley Snipes is up for a reboot of Blade, because boom, I got the first story.
Down with the Cullens.
Oh god.
Or Buffy the Vampire Slayer is getting rebooted.
Oh god.
She could take a crack at it.
Oh god. Like what is it? What is spoof movies? The scary movie.
They actually made a whole Twilight one called Vampires Suck.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yep.
Oh god.
And it was better than Twilight.
Yeah, that was the funny part about it. Speaking of movies.
All right.
Oh yeah. Last night I went out.
Here we go.
Hey, I'm just going to give a brief thing, but then I'll go with my little mini rant. Last night me and my father went out to go see Alita: Battle Angel. Now it was a good. I enjoyed the movie.
Quick.
Say again.
Quick, before you get into that, did you read the manga?
No, I did not. I didn't know there was a manga.
Okay.
But my father was really hype about it. He knows about the manga and whatnot. But we went to go see it. I treated him for it because I know it was something he wanted to watch. And the time before is, hey, let's go see Glass. He said, okay, I'll come with you. So it was this time he wanted to see this, and I took him. But both of those movies goes into my topic right here. Is that I think that this whole new society has been expecting more from multimedia, because I went to go. Has anybody seen Glass yet? Even though I recommended it.
I'm sorry, I haven't been able to.
Okay.
I'm waiting for it to hit the cheap theater, because that's pretty much all me and my old lady can afford.
Gotcha. So, looking up real quick, Glass, the movie, got a 37 Rotten Tomato and a 42 Metacritic, and it's 7 out of 10 IMDb. I was like, okay. And I went to go get the tickets and whatnot, so I typed in the Alita, and I pulled it up, and it's 7.6 IMDb, 60% Rotten Tomato, and 53 Metacritic. I was like, what in the world? I let my father know. He's like, and as soon as I let my father know about the rating, I was like, hold on. I know Glass was not the best movie everybody thought it was. I wanted to go look at that. I was like, I enjoyed this movie, and it was rated this bad. Like, what the hell is going on with critics and how they're making stuff now? Or grading stuff?
I actually took part in a conversation just about this the other day. And really is if the medium that the critic is viewing, playing, reading, whatever, is not pandering to a certain group that they are affiliated with, it automatically gets like minus 10 points in their book. So it's really, there's a lot of bias going around, and that's not fair.
Yeah,
anything.
I enjoyed the movie.
I have been.
And I didn't know anything about the manga. I know it was based off of manga, but going into there fresh, looking at it, it was a really good movie. It wasn't like one of my best favorite movies. Like Google users, 95% like this movie, and Glass, 82% like the movie on Google users. It's just
Yeah.
it's like what my father said. People are used to the Iron Man, the Avengers, and all these superhero movies that have to be outstandingly great. So these
Yeah.
smaller ones get bumped down to 50% when they come out.
I'm not sure if your guys' parents were like this. Mine sure the hell were. But I was taught to treat everything with an open mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's common sense, which is also lacking in today's society.
Yeah,
you
it's
do
so
not
rare.
go
It should be a
into-
superpower.
And just call me, I don't know. Anyway, if you go into something expecting something and you do not get that something, you're going to be disappointed. That is why an open mind, especially when consuming a art medium, even video games is listed in that category for me because let's face it, some of the games that have been released in the past 10 years could be classified as art pieces. If you do not go in as an open mind and expect to see something that just you want to expect to see, you're going to be let down. Whereas in, let's see, my biggest thing lately is I have been just chilling around the house when I have free time. So I was like, you know what, the hell with it. I'm going to grab a book. I run over to my bookcase and I grab The Hobbit. And mind you, this is the original version before the edits. Now, I got my wife hooked on Lord of the Rings. I got her hooked on The Hobbit. So I am very well known with the movie. The books, I maybe read once a piece, including The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, Silmarillion, all that. But I picked this up and I was like, whoa, what am I seeing? Because the songs were different. The introduction of the characters were different. The meeting of, not Frodo, but Bilbo and Gandalf was vastly different from what I remember. And that's because when I was younger and read Hobbit, it was an edited version to fit in with the book or the movies.
Yeah, kind of like Spider-Man 1, 2, and 3.
So, okay. You know what? Those were great in their own aspects because they did it when nothing else out there was doing it at that time.
Yeah, but the
And
whole
that's going
wrist
in
shooter.
at an open mind.
The wrist shooter, come on.
You know,
if you remember, go for it.
You want to talk about things changing, and you talked about reading, Huck Finn. My first interaction with Huck Finn was the school did it as a play. Now, I grew up right outside an Indian reservation. So I'm reading the book for the first time, and I'm expecting the character Injun Joe to show up, except I don't know him as Injun Joe because although they left the other words in, because we lived on an Indian reservation, he was just Joe in the play. So I'm confused as all hell when I'm reading the book. I'm like, who is Injun Joe? I'd never actually seen that character described that way until I read the actual literature. Because they had edited it to not offend people on the res.
Let me look at that.
And that's just it. It's people, and there's always different viewpoints. But if you don't look at something as a collective whole with an open mind, you're gonna be disappointed.
Well,
And that's what I think's going on with movies lately.
well, let me ask you real quick there, Mr. Mike, nerd guy. What did you think of Ghost in a Shell, Scarlett Johansson?
being very familiar with the light novels, the manga, the animated series, I could only be disappointed at one thing,
Which was?
and her emergence scene. Because in all the other medium, which they tried to stick to very closely, and it was highly noticed, and maybe we're just not at that level of CG yet, but the back of her skull is open, exposing her brain case.
Okay.
And it didn't happen in the movie.
Okay, so something from a different media source didn't happen in the movie. Now, would you give that a what grade would you give that movie?
I'd probably give it a 9 out of 10.
For just as a non-biased, non-educated movie watcher, or based off of all the knowledge you have off that subject?
Based off all the knowledge I had off it.
Okay. So has anybody
Because
else seen it? John?
I
I'm
didn't
not.
really,
I'm not familiar with it at all. Actually,
Okay.
I didn't really get a chance to watch it in its entirety. I saw parts of it.
Okay.
And the whole whitewashing thing to me wasn't an issue simply because what I have seen, I watched the original anime, I watched all the original movies, and because the Major's body is synthetic, they even reference throughout the movies and stuff her changing the color of her skin, the shape of her face to fit different tactical jobs. She mentions that it was common enough to do simply because it literally just meant swapping her essence into a different body for a different job.
Yeah.
So it really didn't matter what race they picked for the case, because the whole point was the essence of the person was the ghost, the spirit inside the case. The case was of no real importance, and that was the whole concept of the idea.
Well, here's what the reason why I brought Mike's little expert opinion, asking his grade. Now, Rotten Tomato gave it a 43. IMDb gave it 6.4 out of 10, and Google users said 78% liked this movie. Again, I liked the movie. I've seen the original 1995 movie, and that's about as much as I've got to that, invested into that. I've seen a couple of the episodes from Adult Swim, but other than that, it's like, it was a good movie. Good cinematology, the story kind of matched up and whatnot, and it was done well. Yeah. So why was it given this 43% rating?
The only reason I could think is, even to me, the movie seemed a little rushed. I watched Get Sack, Ghost in the Shell, Standalone Complex. Both are sets in their entirety. And Jay, you'll remember this. At the end of both, she had to go into her default shell, which was of a child.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
They did not have any reference to that in the movie.
Well, and that's
however, what's up?
I said that's what I went to the website. It says the visuals were great and the performance was great, but the end result lacked the magic of the movie's classic source material.
I see it a little bit, but only in the music, because I think the movie music was kind of garbage.
Gotcha.
Not saying it didn't play well into the movie. It's just the music in the anime.
It fits so well.
What the hell? But the Lego Movie 2 got an 85%?
Well, you have to Batman as a Lego.
Oh my God.
But Mike, you have to remember, in an anime, the music is almost a character unto itself. In the good ones.
That's true. But also, for a movie, scores, and you can go as far back as you want, even back to the Chaplin days, the music is what holds it together.
Oh yeah.
I mean, just look at Jaws. And I'm just going to point that out because it's on Netflix right now, and I've been watching the hell out of all of them. The music of when you know the shark is around.
Yeah.
Just the feeling of terror and dread you get from that. The music of a movie is supposed to have an impact on you. Whereas, and yes, the anime music is a character of it unto itself. And last week, or the week before, I can't remember which, Love is War is a new show out for the winter 2019 season. And at the end of episode 3, and I highly recommend you look this up just because it's a freaking banger, there is a solo of one of the girls, Chika, or whatever, I can't remember her name right now, Fujiwara. And she does a solo. And the movement is so crisp and clean and fluid with the music that it just ties it all together.
Actually,
Yeah,
you want to
100% agree with you.
You want a perfect example? A movie we've probably all ever seen, either the new one or the original, Magnificent Seven. That iconic scene where the seven are finally together and they're riding across the field and the theme plays right behind them. And you just, I don't know what else to call it, but ass-kicking music. You know a throwdown's going to happen.
Yeah.
And it really just, it's that iconic moment. They're finally together. The whole team has been found and assembled and they're on their way. And that music just plays. And it's like, can you imagine that scene without that music?
Yeah. The score, the dialogue, the script is going to make the movie. I just think people are more harsh on their reviews. I mean, that can translate to any type of media. You got TV, movies, games, stuff like that. I just open mind.
Yeah,
For me, Battlegirl kind of trips more of the uncanny valley for me. That whole it's there, but it's not in terms of the CGI, and part of it just kind of wants my brain just kind of wants to weird out on it.
Well, here's my thing. If my in conversation with my father last night was most people, like, for me, example, me going to the movies, I'm going to invest 2.5 hours to go to the movie, and then the pay for the movie. So 2.5 hours of my life right now for what I do is about $35. So that's $35 my time plus the money for the ticket, $12. So that's almost $50 right there to invest watching it. Now, was the movie worth $52? Probably not. Would I rather, like, if knowing what I know now, going back to the old me or like the past me, be like, hey, just wait for it to come out on Redbox and rent it? Yeah, that would be probably, you'll be getting a lot of value out of Redbox with it. It's a good movie. Is it a great movie? Yeah. The action scenes are pretty good. The story's pretty good. But if you can get like a midday matinee or a discount movie theater, go check it out. It's pretty good.
You missed an important factor in your factoring, though.
And what's that?
You said you took your dad to see it because he wanted to see it. So was it worth the time you got to spend with your dad?
Yeah, I mean, we both enjoyed it. It's just like Glass. I know, I don't look back and say, like, man, I just wasted money and my time there. No. The only bad thing about Glass is that there's a drunk person in the theater that we end up getting kicked out. But
I remember you saying that.
yeah,
Yep.
but was it worth me spending time with my father, the money I paid, and us enjoying the movie? Yes. And there's times during the movie I was like, damn, that just happened? Holy shit. Yeah, there's times that happened, and I enjoyed the movie. Was it one of my top 10 movies? No. But was it a good movie for the last 6 months I've seen a movie? Probably top 3.
Nice.
So,
Good.
if you want to invest...
I'm glad we had this conversation. Because it leads into the next subject I want to bring up. Okay to move on?
Yeah, go
Yeah.
ahead.
All right. So, me and you, Jay, we just nerded out about Get Sack and all that, right? Anime.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, recently, and this is an ongoing discussion with everyone, everyone's just head over heels for Apex, right?
Right.
And a lot of people are like, well, why are you playing so and so game when you could be playing Apex? And it's the old adage coming up again: niche versus hype. Oh, in my community, fighting game community, we've always been like, okay, we got to get on this next game coming out. It's going to be, the next big thing, all that. And like with Street Fighter V, it's garbage, in my opinion. It's just trash.
Well,
It is a 50-50 guessing game.
well,
And
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
Now, John, you were telling me something earlier about Anthem. Why don't you go dive into that for a little bit about the FOMO?
I don't think that was. I don't remember talking about that honestly.
Yeah, you weren't talking about getting Anthem, and no, that was the other guy that was going to be a guest. It was getting a game and feeling like you missed out. Like with the grind, you miss a piece of gear, a piece of machinery, or
As far as like pre-ordering and not getting something, or
yeah, kind of like that. But like
no, just
like grind. If you don't grind hard enough, you won't be able to get the full effect of your game.
see, I think
Oh,
battle
I
royale is battle royale makes it hard to grind. I mean, everyone talks shit on Fortnite, but the Fortnite Battle Pass is almost great because it gives you something besides the win to go for.
And it's free now if you do the challenges.
Exactly, yeah. But I mean, it becomes more about, oh, kill everybody else and win. If there's even weekly or daily challenges that you have to grind for, anything. I mean, versus not necessarily grind to benefit to win, but grind for a gun skin or a costume or whatever it may be. I think it's quality in battle royale games.
okay. I hear you on that. Yeah, I mean, you have again going back to anime versus mainstream TV. I have shows that I've watched 10 to 15 times of anime, like Laid Back Camp or Toradora, or what's another big one I like? Oh, Gate. Those are animes I can watch over and over again because they just bring something to my table that I can't describe. Whereas in I go and watch, like, what's the biggest show out? Game of Thrones, which I haven't watched, but I've seen bits and pieces of it, and it's like, oh, it's a fantasy show
I thought you said
where
something
they
else.
kill everybody. What?
I thought you said something
What'd I say?
else. That you saw bits and tits of it.
Well, you'll see that too.
It's like, I mean, it's like back when Spartacus was a thing, people are like, oh, you got to watch this show. I mean, people are still trying to get me to watch House of Cards and shit like that. It's like, I don't like stuff like that, but it's the hype scene.
Yeah, it's like I still
And-
haven't
yeah.
seen the last season of Breaking Bad, and they're trying to make a movie out of it.
I heard that. That sounds interesting. But it's like, you get games like Fortnite, Apex, Anthem, Call of Duty 4, all this stuff, and it's like, can I just go and play Shadow of the Colossus? Do I have to play these games?
Well,
Those are games to me that require friends either in your house or in a party on Xbox, or like I'll hardly ever log on and play Fortnite or play Apex by myself.
yeah, and that's what I experienced with Destiny and Division, and it then bleed into other games. It's like I have these two people that I play with all the time. They know me in and out how I play, so it makes the game a lot more winnable. But I think a lot of it's with the community, like streamers, YouTubers. They gotta get a new thing. Like all these videos that you go look right now on YouTube and type in tips or tricks for Apex, you will find like 800
Million.
videos.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And with fighting games, we have community leaders, we have the tourney organizers, and the influencers. And it's like, okay, what are you promoting this week? And I'm always of the mindset, I'm usually just going to play by myself because my game doesn't fit into your hype. You know, I mean, I still hit up Under Night Invert. I still hit up Street Fighter 4, Ultra Street Fighter 4.
Well, it's
You
like
know?
last year, 2018, was the year of single player games.
Exactly. God of War, the Shadow of the Colossus remake, Horizon. I mean,
Red Dead Redemption. What was another one? Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need
You know-
multiplayer to have fun with a game.
See, I,
But
I
going-
see. I see Battle Royale being this dominant. I mean, Apex had 10 million players in what, 3 days?
But how much is
72
that
hours.
hype,
Yep.
hype versus...
But how many people are going to play that this time next year?
Yeah, exactly.
Like I see
Exactly.
Battle Royale being a phase that dies out rather quickly. I mean, because once you get a few wins, it loses the glamour. It's not like Ninja, the world's biggest streamer, wins 85% of his games. At what point does that stop being fun?
Whenever he dyes his hair
The
again.
community,
I mean, I
Exactly.
personally hate him as a streamer. I refuse to watch him. But like, if I log into a game that I want every single time, it doesn't become challenging. It doesn't become fun to me. Like I'd rather play through. Like my go-to game is Baldur's Gate for PlayStation 2. I'd rather play through that for the 95th time
yes.
than get another win on Fortnite. You know?
I was just gonna ask because your comment about going back to an old familiar anime that you can watch over and over, and I know everybody's got that game that I've had a crappy day, and you can almost call it your old favorite sweatpants. It's that thing that you just, I want to relax, so I'm gonna pop this in and chill out, and even if I beat it 500 times. And I was just curious what everybody else's was.
Jeez.
Mine is Baldur's
Okay, man.
Gate for PlayStation 2, hand down. Best game ever.
Mine is usually Skyrim. I've beat it a million times, but it's one of those, I can always find something new to do in it. A new build, a new way to go. And it's honestly been one that I found a lot of enjoyment out of that, or I'll replay Kingdom Hearts a lot.
That's a tough choice for me. Like, like to go back and to play it over and over again. It would have been if my stepfather didn't delete it. Would be Resident Evil 4.
Really?
Yeah, because you can just start over New Game Plus. As far as like now, honestly, like the one thing that I can go to and just load in and play, not get worked up, just probably play a couple of games, is League of Legends ARAM, where it's 10 people randomly choose characters, and you just run it down mid. To be honest.
This not going to be a surprise to anyone. I'll either sit down with Pokemon or I'll sit down with Super Mario 3.
Oh, I love me some Mario 3.
Relax. Yeah, I got it on my 3DS. I sit there. I can reload a state where I wasn't screwing up. Pokemon, I'm trying to do the VGC challenge and all that. I already got my 3 wins, so I'm getting Tapu Bulu. But it's like, okay, I could just sit here, relax, go play Pokemon. Oh, I didn't do this, I'll go do that. You know, it's stuff like that. It's just simple stuff for me.
See, I almost lucked out. Like I didn't really get into gaming until I was a teenager. My first system was a PS2 I got when I was 14. First game I had for it was Spider-Man. So like I just got a GameCube with my wife last year. So all the games you guys are talking about, the Marios, the classics, I'm playing through for the first time and falling in love with it even more. So I mean, I'm sure at some point I'll find another classic that I love. But I mean, I played Super Mario 3 for the first time 2 months ago.
If you can find one, the NES Classic is completely worth the money. The SNES Classic didn't wow me as much, but the NES Classic, you get such a good grouping of games for $60. You get them all re-resed for HD screens and all that, and it really is worth the price of admission. I loved it, and honestly, it's how I'm trying to introduce my kids to this is the gaming Dad grew up with.
Yeah, see, like my kid plays Minecraft and Rocket League.
Rocket League is really good.
My
son enjoys the crap out of that game,
Mm-hmm.
and I love playing with him, even though I suck hard at it. Like I told another dad in our group, Martin, is that I'm like the ranking system. I'm a floating wet piece of wood in a salty ocean tier. I mean, I've only got 6 hours in the game, but my son loves the crap out of that game. He knows every car by his sight. He knows the name.
Going back to the NES Classic, the Super Nintendo Classic, if you can pick up both, do it. Because, like you said, you didn't play till you were a teenager. You missed out on a huge catalog. The Super Nintendo alone had a catalog of 800 games.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can pick both of them up, do it, just so you can get the feel. I mean,
I never played Mario anything until I was in college, and that was Mario Party. We played through them all as a drinking game in college. I mean,
yeah,
those 800 games are only what released in the States too.
Cool.
Exactly. Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past alone is worth the price point for the Super Nintendo Classic.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Yeah. I had the actual opposite effect, and this is going to get a little personal, so I'm sorry if I bug you guys with it. I was an okay gamer when I was a kid. I had Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64. Then I turned 13. I lost my virginity and thought I was a big shit. So I started, going out with the big kids and partying, and then I got hard into drugs. 16 rolled around. I tried robbing a church and got caught. The pastor thankfully didn't press charges and helped me get therapy. So I got clean after that, met my wife, knocked her up. We got married and graduated. That's my life event right there. But it wasn't till after that I started to get back in the games. So I missed out on the beginning of Xbox and, started a PlayStation 3 and all that. And going back to some of them games, I didn't miss much, but I found a few gems that I did.
I was talking about for PlayStation 3. You just missed not getting your wallet stolen by Sony.
Okay, go to bed.
Well, it's true. PlayStation 3 came out, it was like $600.
Yep.
Yeah, true. But, no, like, when I did college and all that, I was like, you know what, I'm going to get back into gaming. I did. And it's been a great hobby for me. It's been one of my constants. And it's like,
it's always
I see some stuff I miss. Well, it's not only just there for me, it's there when I need to relax.
And gaming for me was this way to meet people. I mean, I can sit there and play, frankly, Fortnite on a Friday night and make 10 friends who I now talk to and text on a daily basis, but I've never met in my life.
Oh, I knew I made a mistake. We got a Fortnite player in here.
I am by no means an addict, but I appreciate it for what it's for.
I actually read something in Fortnite, I have to say, is the greatest game that adults don't play.
Yeah, because it
You
gets
don't-
all the other
Yeah,
kids
yeah,
off your game.
yeah.
Yep.
You don't have the screaming kids and all that crap in your lobbies anymore because they're all over playing Fortnite, so we can enjoy the games that don't suck.
Well, I played single
See,
player games, so
Yeah,
now we're.
I'd much rather launch PUBG, but Fortnite is great for what it is. I mean, it's I can spend 3 hours mindlessly playing it, and if I lose, great. If I win, great. I mean, I'm happy either way. It's a brainless time killer for me.
Again, I'm going to get a little personal here. 2016, I had probably the biggest tragedy in my life. I lost my youngest son. So, Jonathan and Jay, you already know that, but John here doesn't. So
That's awful, man.
a
I'm
lot
so
of the
sorry.
friends don't worry about it. And as heartless as that sounds, it's like I was forced to move on. So
Do you have other
that's where
kids?
Yeah, my oldest son. He's actually sleeping right in front of me now, the little shit.
Oh, really? See, I wasn't sure if you had kids after that or if you had one before, because I feel like having one before is what forced you to move on.
Back history for me, both my sons were disabled. My youngest son was even more disabled than my oldest son. So he was struggling from day one, and the Valkyries finally took him when he was just before he turned 7. So, but anyway, I lost a lot of friends I made gaming. I still talk to a couple, thankfully, from around here, but I just have not been the same since. So stuff like the Dad podcast we're doing right now and the Bunch of Dads gaming group, it's a breath of fresh air for me. I can actually talk to other people who have difficulties of their own as in being a dad that games and stuff like that.
Oh, and it's
Whereas my wife-
just nice to scroll through and see, oh, they have that problem too. Like it's relatable. It's
Exactly. And I relate a lot with Jay because my wife is going through nursing school right now while holding down a full-time job because, let's face it, I'm a sad dad, stay-at-home dad, because my son needs a full-time caretaker when he isn't in school. So I relate a lot to Jay because he knows the going through nursing school, being a stay-at-home dad. And to me, it's like this podcast is probably, and thank you to Jonathan, probably a way for me to come back out after my tragedy. And it's been nothing but awesome.
And
But it's
that's
like,
why I made it, guys. I was going through some stuff, like I said earlier, with my my legal stuff with my ex. Pull my hair out kind of stuff, and I was like, hey, look, for a long time I've always wanted to do a podcast. I watched a couple of them. I enjoy listening to it. Why not do it from a dad's standpoint? And that's why I got a group on Facebook. And every week I go on our groups that have dads. It's like, look, if you're a gaming dad, you'll be a special guest. Let's get you on tonight. And I get like 5 messages tonight. So, John, you made the cut.
just this past autumn, my family, and I hope I ain't bugging you too much with this, Jay, knowing that you recently had a loss yourself.
You'll be all right.
All right. We lost the patriarch of the family. My wife's grandfather passed away. So she's been dealing with that while going to school and holding down the full-time job. So something like this Friday nights where we can just do shit about games and current events in gaming and dad stuff. It's great. So to all who watching and listening, thank you. And sorry to bug everybody.
Oh man! Like after this podcast, I'm gonna split open a sleeve of Girl Scout Thin Mints that have been in the freezer, and I'm gonna download my Red Dead Redemption 2 I just bought, and I'm probably gonna
Oh, you did it.
Yeah, I did it. I finally did it. Even though I got the game with my PS4 Pro and sold the hard copy, I'm a digital guy. But again, I want to appreciate everybody watching this stream and coming in and listening to us talk about games and dad life. Special thank you for John coming as a special guest tonight.
I appreciate the offer. Thank you very much.
And your gamer tag is for your PlayStation Network, right? That's on the screen?
Negative. I only have an Xbox.
Xbox. So I know there's not a lot of Xbox dads in our group, but he's an Xbox guy. And definitely want to tip my hat off for Jay coming back and being back on the crew again. I know he's gone through some stuff, and I appreciate him taking his time. And I wanted him to know that he's got a family here, and just good to see him back on the crew.
I appreciate it, man.
And Mike, you deal with my crap every week.
Yeah.
It sounds like the meds are rolling in a little harder right now.
Oh, hey, before we do go,
Going hard. That's why I got so sentimental.
You're good. Go ahead.
before we do go, wish me some luck. I got a job interview coming up Sunday with Home Depot, who might actually be willing to work with the accommodations I need, because all they're looking for is a cashier. They should be able to let me just use a stool or something.
That's great.
So I don't have to be on my feet, and I can actually start bringing in money.
That's awesome. I know that's going to help out a lot of doors in your situation that we talked about. And I was going to ask.
All right. Before we even do that, everyone get on your Twitter and go message Home Depot to employ this dude.
Yeah. Because I know I was going to ask you after the stream to see if you had any luck with the interview, because I know one day you went ham out there. But it's good. It's very great to hear that you got a open door right now.
Yeah, good luck, man.
But,
Thank you.
For all the viewers out there, I appreciate you coming by, sticking us with this 2-hour podcast. And as a final note, I will put this down, and everybody here and everybody listening can hold me accountable. By March, this podcast will be on iTunes and SoundCloud and officially published on YouTube every time we air. So just give us a little time. We're still starting up. This is our 6th episode. So by March, before March starts, we'll have more access to this podcast. But I appreciate everybody coming by, watching us, all the viewers and whatnot. We will be back same time next week at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and maybe it might be another 2-hour one. Maybe it might be another 9-minute one, but we will be here.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Yep, with the same dads and their drinks. Take care, guys.
That was lemonade, by the way. I swear it was lemonade.
Yeah, okay. Bye, guys.
All right. Just like I took down.